The latest. Thank you for your love and support. I appreciate you all. There is something that are all in all the Savior, the Protector, the Unifier, the Messiah, the King of Kings, the most loved. Captain Ibrahim Traore said when he faced the prayers that got all of us thinking and asking questions. What is it that are all in all meant? Because when he said it, he told the journalists not to ask him what it is, that time will tell. And in this life, that it's not everything that you need to make open to the world what your steps are, because even the people that are fighting us do not tell us their moves. All we see is, they have executed it. So for that reason, we also need to keep certain things to ourselves. And we all kept asking, what is this black albino that Captain Ibrahim Traore talked about? Africans, we need to have power. Other people in this world are treating us anyhow because they know we lack something. Whenever our all-in-alls are talking, they always tell us about war, and people don't understand why it is war, war, war. The African is at war. And that is why Captain Ibrahim Traore said, the slave that do not rebel doesn't deserve pity. We can never pray to get our freedom. We can never do otherwise other than to wage war against the people that are waging the same war at us. And that is why our all-in-alls always acquire equipment, and people ask all the time, what do we need these things for? As an African, you should know that we are at war. Before we can get the freedom that we are looking for, we need to fight for it, because nobody will give it to us on a silver platter.
He released this concept of black albinism. What do you think it is, Lucas? Bakey. Then you ask me a question that drives me to exercise as a charlatan. He no, but himself. By saying he said so. Clearly, don't try to understand. You will see it for yourself. But he says it in a context where he is asked to know. But listen seriously to the president. In view of all the difficulties we have, do you think we can win this war? He says that you can only win it, and that anyway, very soon. We will talk about the appearance of a black albino, and then the war will end. We cannot understand that in a happy perspective. That is to say that Ibrahim betrayed a good speaker, tries to mobilize people's consciences in a way that they understand that whatever the difficulties of today, what is certain is that once they are determined, once they have the commitment, once they have the energy, that what is certain is needed is that they will always have the means to come. Finally, to reach the end of this war, when we see a little the steps that are already taken, the weapons they were able to conquer the way of which they also mobilized, well, the army, then the VDP and the people themselves, as well as the promises he is making to even to encourage Burkina to be able to manufacture himself his weapons, which never happened in any case. For the 5 African countries, it is clear that he is us, that there are still from this line, which is already defined. We do not need to guess the nature of this. Talibanos, but CE is that the Burkina army is going crescendo. It has become a steamroller. If ever betrayed, has the genius to find a new peace, which allows for more convincing results. But we will be able only to greet him, then to see the miners does not reflect a concrete reality. Whether it is concrete or not, I won't just guess, because I know that the line that has been defined, the dynamic that it announced, the momentum that he took, allows us to hope for everything positive. End out in ECS with regard to SA method of country management. Soon we will talk about the black albino. That will appear and you will see. Don't ask me what it is. I think you will understand later. The war will end, and very quickly. That's what he said. Exactly. So go excellent. That you who read in the letters, black ads, what is it about? I have consulted everything I have. As male, it did not give anything, and I think that in some countries we mobilized the Marabout, the charlatan fetishes to understand albino black. But apparently people did not understand, and I think you know. Traore has become the master of puzzles, because the term black albino, that we struggle to find meaning, is that it must be something, let's say, strong, since he said black albino. We can take this as a joke. Albino and Black Ben. The albino, everyone knows that the albino, it is first of all, the black is albino. It is black, and when it is albino, it is no longer black. Then how you can be albino and black? You said it was an equation with two unknowns. No, it is only one unknown. We know him, but he is the albino we don't know. Here is the equation. Is that albino unknown and black known? What are we doing? Perhaps to the best mathematician, and they will explain. How can this be solved as a problem? So, black, albino, we have not understood anything, and we are looking. We believe the assurance with which the President Traore announced the arrival of this black albino. It's like the return of the Messiah, the arrival of the Messiah, the one by whom everything will change then. While you and I may take it for a play on words, but I see that the black albino is causing a panic general among the enemies of Burkina. That's where I think, but they understood what it is otherwise Ben, albino black. Why? I'll make a story out. But if it causes panic to prohibitions or EHT on the use of the term, you understand that we have already understood the black albino, and it does not reserve absolutely nothing good for them. Yeah, you mean at the exit of the public of the Ivory Coast, which prohibits use or commentary on this black albino concept, because according to him, the concept is stigmatizing Eng for albino. But this is not an insult to an albino. That we say first, the albino dreams of being black like his siblings, then say black albino in what one stigmatizes it. Being black is not an insult to an albino. Do you understand? There it only has to say that we stigmatize because it's the blacks who don't want to be albino, but the albino would like to be black, like because they are born even father, same mother, but there is one who is an albino, and he wonders, but why me, and why not others? So this case, you know, they have their reason. I don't want to specify on you who. I don't think the word black, albino, if it is true that this stigmatizes, whether it is only in one country, since this is denounced, we also, in Togo, could have denounced the we have albinos in the Togo. Fortunately, albinos have no problem compared to other countries where people take albinos like to make their human sacrifice. Do you understand this from here? We have no problem with albinos. We could have stood up on our tails too. Poor Daya, Ibrahim Traore, it is not necessary. He did not stigmatize any albinos. People have their reasons for to put themselves on their decoys. They only have to say that this is why we don't like the expression albino black. We don't stigmatize albinos. The world is vast. It falls to me. It falls to me. There are everywhere organizations of rights to defend human rights from this. None of these organizations screamed scandal. That the president of the FASO says black albino. Why a country where we all have the problems we have. We will not stigmatize. We have human rights problems. We have problems with this. Why it's him, which is now denouncing a stigmatization of who it is, which now makes the against black albinos, because nobody had taken this term negatively, except the enemies of Burkina that tremble at the end, and it is up to them to explain why they are. His Kabaki, is the black albino concept insulting? No, well, precisely, even the context in which, but it is a rather glorious context, i.e. the black albino question would put an end to finally allow end to Kaz's son apparition, would put an end to the war. So normally, here is normally a Messiah, cest, that is, that this is an opportunity that should everyone at once, because in reality, war, what is it for killing people? Or, it's not so that. It's to say that in reality, who feels snotty, flies in a context like this one, when a public prosecutor spell to start to agitate and to tackle. To those who recover this term of black albino without but attack the author himself. So it says it is the president of the Republic in an interview addressed to his people says, listen, do not lose hope, I promise you this. There will soon be the appearance of a man that will put an end to the war. He talks to his people, but why? So much excitement to the point where a man who guarantees the law, which is responsible for observing, to work for the regulation of peace or social peace censorship against a term that was used by a statesman and attacks precisely those who use this term, to wonder precisely about the nature and the identity of this Talibinus that would bring the good news. To the people of Israel, it is nevertheless curious, and I have the impression that it is the sub, precisely of these people who are becoming to manifest themselves from freeing themselves, because if they understood the very meaning of this question of black albinos, they can't prove it either, because in fact it means that they know they are concerned with by this black albino concept. But in any case, I salute once again the charisma of Ibrahim Traore, you know, in oratory art. It is also good to create certain nodes and make people wonder. People can't get to you automatically and totally, so that there is a form of myth around the person. And in this I think that Ibrahim Traore succeeds to create in the minds of many people, agitators, of especially those who conspire against their people. They say to themselves, surely that this gentleman must have set foot on something. They may surprise us unpleasantly by precisely this way, fertile precisely are to undertake and initiate, to overcome, to defeat us.
The people that are fighting us will make sure they'll continue to keep us where we are, so they can have upper hand on us. And if truly we want to be free, we should be ready to fight them to get our freedom. That is how the world works. So there are certain things we need. They made us to sign bonds that we can never acquire certain things to protect ourselves, like when they tried with Iran and they realized that Iran was having power than them. We saw that they were even fighting among themselves, the people that went to look for the war. And they were saying that they didn't even know that Iran has this capability. So this is what we need to understand as Africans, that our leaders are doing everything possible to guide us to the right path, to fight for freedom. But with this freedom, we need to prepare. Like always he says. And the union that deserves to fight for the people, the union is doing nothing rather than pleasing other people. We need to understand that these people do not have us at heart. It is not about the speech they give us during every summit they meet, because they speak and do less. They speak and do less. And if these speeches are given to us and we are happy, we should know that the oppressor has allowed that. Because according to the former whatever of African Union, he said that 70% of everything is funded. And that is the reason to which they can never do anything on their own. Look at what is happening in Congo, Sudan, and all parts of Africa. Yet, the leaders are quick in rising and fighting for other people. Why not fight for Africa? Captain Ibrahim Traore said, within us, we are not united. And instead of us to wake up to fight for our own unity and to set ourselves free, we are busy talking about other people, calling for the freedom of other people, while Africa, we are suffering. So what do we need to do in order to set ourselves free from all these things that are happening to us? Is for us to rise up, to fight for the liberation we are looking for, because nobody will give to us on a silver platter. Our leaders are very good, and that is why at every point in time they come out to tell us what their moves are, what they are going through, what the planners and the plotters are doing, so that we can move alongside with them. If they don't communicate to us, other people will use their medias to pollute us, and that is the exact thing that they are doing. And these our leaders are very good at that, because they are able to communicate things to our understanding, and that is why we are following them here and there, and we love and cherish what we are seeing and what they are doing, because it's not everybody that will be ready to fight for our freedom. That's why we are seeing those in the democratic elected not having time for us, and they will decide to protect their family and themselves, because they don't see the reason to which they should lead the people and get the people freedom. We are at war. The only freedom and the only fight these people give to us is in speech. It's only Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso that are always fighting them without talking. And we need to understand that we can never get the freedom if we continue to be talking without backing it with action. The people that are coming to fight the African come with action and not worse. So that's the latest around the world in Africa, West Africa, and in Burkina Faso.